Hey, it's Claire and James here. Before we get stuck into this week's episode, we just want to let you know that we're about to launch a first of its kind tool that's going to help you identify where you might be holding yourself back from living your fullest potential at midlife.
We're naming it the Midlife Reset Audit, and what's incredibly exciting is that it'll offer you your personalised strategies that give you the most impactful wins, so you can quickly take back control of your body, mind and life.
Now we're just putting the finishing touches to it, making it the best it can possibly be. So if you'd like to be the first to take the audit, pop your name on the waiting list. Just go to themidlifementors.com/audit. I'm so confused and overwhelmed. What's the best exercise to do at midlife? Listen, we hear this all the time, and in this episode, we're going to give you the no-nonsense, science-backed lowdown on how to get the results you seek.
There's so much misinformation out there from so-called experts. So first off, we're going to break down the myths that keep holding you back. Then we'll dive into the best strategies for the midlife body and how to apply it to your busy life.
This episode is literally jam-packed with nuggets of information that will help you achieve the fitness, health and wellness goals you deserve.
Hi, I'm James Davis.
And I'm Claire Davis.
We're the Midlife Mentors, here to lift the lid on how to achieve health and happiness.
The balanced, no-nonsense way.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Midlife Mentors with me, James.
And me, Claire. It is wet and wild and windy out there today,
Wet
isn't
and
it?
wild, that's how I like it.
I knew he was going to say that. It is very spring weather, isn't it?
Well,
Showers.
More winter than spring, I think.
Oh, my
As we
goodness.
slide into the Easter long weekend, of course, the heavens have opened, it's chucking it down with rain, it's grey skies.
And of course, because we're British, we're talking about the weather as soon as we jump on a podcast.
But that is not what we're going to talk about today. Today we're going to talk about a topic we get asked about so
All
much,
the time.
all the time, which is what is the best exercise at midlife. And listen, there is an evidence-based approach to this. There are, any movement is great, but there are certain things that are better than others. So we're going to dive into that. But before we do...
We do get asked this all the time,
We do get asked all the time.
Honestly, I can't...
in person, when we're out and about.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times that we get asked this. So we're really excited to share this one with you. But what have we been up to in the last couple of weeks? Because we do one with just us, then we do a guest.
Yeah.
So it's been a couple of weeks. We haven't been swimming. We haven't been swimming for ages.
Well, the pond shut for essential works, and then it was women only for a bit. And
So James was
didn't
there.
look good in my swimsuit, so yeah.
They threw James out because he was trying to get in. But we've just been really excited about the work that we're doing. We've obviously got our retreat coming up in May. So
Yeah.
not next month. Where am I?
Almost next month.
Yeah, almost next month in Ibiza at Six Senses. And if you are looking for an amazing healthy getaway, do get in touch. I'll put the links in the show notes for our retreat. But obviously that's what we were doing before this. We were running retreats. We've been running retreats for 12 years now. Yeah. And what else?
We're working on our midlife audit, the midlife reset audit, which can be
Yes.
something almost like a quiz you can take that's going to show you where your areas for improvement are across a number of scales of midlife. So like your health, your emotional resilience, your psychology, your mindset, your relationships. I think that should be ready within the next couple of weeks. I'm putting myself out there on that.
Yeah, well, you always do that. James always... The expectations that James puts out about the timings of things leaves a little bit to be desired sometimes. But actually, I do think in a couple of weeks it should be ready. So it's an amazing diagnostic tool really for where you're at in midlife, and it will give you a kind of personalised understanding, like James said, of where you're at, some of the areas that you're ticking the boxes of, and some areas for improvement as well. So super excited about that. And
if you want to sign up to that, you can sign up to the wait list now. You'll be the first to know. themidlifementors.com/audit.
Yes. So let's dive in. The best exercise at midlife. Now, why is this really important? Well, we're going to talk about this. We have got a lot of hormonal changes going on at midlife. And what we used to do in our 20s and 30s, the reason people come to us and say, what's the best exercise at midlife, is because there's a lot of frustration around this. It's not just to do with hormones. Can't blame everything on hormones. But what we used to do in our 20s and 30s, maybe to stay in shape, isn't cutting the mustard anymore, and it's just not working. And so people feel very frustrated. At points, they might even think, well, this is just it. I'm just going to give up now. So that is not what we want you to do, because obviously exercise is more than about just your body shape. It's about how we're experiencing health and wellness within as well, and like life longevity, mental health, all that kind of stuff. But so that's why we wanted to dive into this, because we just hear this frustration a lot, and we don't want you to give up, because there is a way that you can exercise at midlife and still get results.
Yeah, I also want to say that there's a lot of bad and just plain wrong advice out there. It's one of my bugbears. Social media makes everyone an expert. We see people going, "Oh no, don't do this at midlife," and they're like, actually, if you go and look at the research, you're completely wrong in what you're saying.
Yeah, and it is overwhelming,
and that leads to people not getting results. Right? If someone's told you like, just lift weights twice a week and don't do anything else because you'll overstress your nervous system, and you're like, well, I'm not changing I'm not shifting any poundage here. What's going on? Well, of course you're not. They're giving you bad advice.
And also, it's when people come to us, they've had conflicting information, and it leads to massive overwhelm. So there is so much noise out there. As we've always said, as we say on this podcast, we're cutting through the noise, the no-nonsense approach to midlife health and happiness, so that you really understand what you need from a science-backed approach, cutting out all of this kind of faddy stuff, all of the nonsense, and getting right to what's going to, get you results. So what we're going to do, how this podcast is going to roll, is we're actually going to break some myths, because James has just like dived on in there about the things that really frustrate us. We're going to break some myths at first, one by one, and then we're going to go into what you should be doing to get results physically, mentally, and emotionally with exercise.
Yeah, so let's start with these myths. And the first one is, right, you do not need hours of cardio. This is the thing, right? It's like, and I get it, in my 20s, maybe even into my 30s, I would just like get on the running machine and go, and it would keep the weight off. And,
this was me.
Yeah. And it's not working. So I'll just do more, and I'll do more, and I'll do more. I'm an hour and 20 minutes on the running machine, and my body shape's still not changing. In fact, it's getting worse. Well, you know why? Because you're spiking your cortisol. You're initiating a stress response from actually doing too much cardio. It's becoming counterproductive. So myth number one is, the myth is like, you need to do hours of cardio to change your body shape. Absolutely not. You do not need that. Short, focused workouts are where it's at midlife.
Yeah, and also cardio will change my body shape. This is another myth. Actually, if I just do cardio, my body shape will change. You might lose body fat if you're doing the kind of right thing with the right rest. You might lose body fat. Your body shape might change, but not dramatically, because here's the thing. We need to be doing weights. We'll go into all the things that you need to be doing. But one of the myths is cardio will change my body shape. Might do a little bit, but not half as much as weights can. And this was my thing. Honestly, when I turned, like 32, 33, and I'd been
just a couple of years ago.
Oh, thank you, darling. I had always thought that cardio was the thing that would change your body shape. And that's when I got into weights. And that's why I became completely obsessed with sharing these secrets basically with other people, because honestly, I'd always either been a couple of dress sizes bigger than I am now and bloated, or I'd had this kind of like bird-like look to me when I was really, really skinny, really, really too thin. And so to see my body shape dramatically change into something that looked very powerful, defined, that was all because I didn't just do cardio, I was doing weights as well.
Okay, the next myth is like, I have to go to the gym. No, you don't. Hey, listen, you'll get great results at the gym. You can also get great results at home with very basic equipment, right? You don't need to invest in, squat racks, machines. Like some kettlebells and some resistance bands will change your body shape massively. So that's myth. You don't need to go to the gym. You can do it at home with simple equipment.
Most of our clients don't. I'd say 98% of our clients don't go to the gym, and their body shape change. They look amazing. Then other myth is I don't need to do weights. I don't need to do weights.
Oh, you do.
Oh my goodness, I kind of just explained there, you do, but it's not just about how your body shape is going to change. Your muscle mass, as we're aging, our muscle mass is decreasing, meaning our metabolic rate is decreasing, because muscle is what we call metabolically active. The more muscle we have, the higher our metabolic rate. We need to be doing it for our bone density. 1 in 5 women is going to experience osteoporosis as we age, go through peri-menopause and menopause. We're wanting to do weights to temporarily boost certain hormones as well. So we do need to do weights. We need to be doing it. I'm going to jump in here a little bit. We need to be doing weights a couple of times a week at least. So doing weights is an absolute must for very, very many reasons. If you haven't done it now, it's not too late. At midlife is the perfect time that you should be doing it, because it's incredibly important, more important than any other moment in your life.
Next myth is just yoga is fine. And this is one of my favorites. Listen, I'm not knocking yoga. Yoga has its place. It's really good. It's very beneficial for your flexibility, for your breathing. It is good for strength, but it's not sufficient to replace resistance training on its own. Why? Because it's not progressive, right? And you're not targeting muscle groups in a way that's going to allow them to grow, which is what we want to do. So from a resistance perspective, it's not filling the box. And from a cardio perspective, it's certainly not. When we're on retreats, we ask people, then they're like, oh yeah, I'm really fit. Have the, they fill out the form, we have the interview. I'm really fit. I was like, oh, what do you do? I do yoga twice a week. Yeah, what else do you do? No, just yoga twice a week. Like, okay, let's go for a run. 5 minutes later, they're like wheezing and gasping. Look, yoga has its place. You include yoga as part of your routine.
Absolutely.
It is great, but it's not enough on its own.
No, absolutely not. And the next one is HIIT should be avoided. So high intensity interval training should be avoided. Like I see this.
This is my bugbear.
I see this all the time. Don't do HIIT. It's really bad for you. It's bad for your body. It's bad for your cardio. That's we see this all the time. Now, here's the thing. If you're going crazy above your own limits, of course, HIIT could be dangerous, but that's the same for any cardio that you're doing. It could be for any weights you're doing, for any yoga you're doing. HIIT actually can be tailored to complete beginners. And we've seen this for 12 years now. We have people coming to our retreats. We have people on our programs that are absolute beginners and they've never done any cardio almost in their life, or they haven't done it for years and years. And they still manage to do HIIT and get amazing results. We're going to explain to you a little bit later in this podcast about why HIIT is so scientifically beneficial to midlifers. In fact, HIIT is the thing that you should be doing at midlife over and above, I'm going to go out bold here, over and above any other cardio. We're going to explain why that is, but HIIT should not be avoided. Now, if we're talking about injuries and stuff like that, that's a different thing. And we can still tailor our HIIT workouts when we've got injuries. But HIIT as a blanket approach should be avoided is an absolute lie.
Yeah, I mean, the thing I hear most is people going, oh, you should avoid HIIT because it will just spike your cortisol at midlife. Listen, your HIIT session should be 20 minutes maximum. If you're doing a 45-minute HIIT session, that is not HIIT, because the intensity you're going at shouldn't allow you to keep going for 45 minutes. Short and sharp. We keep coming back to this, and the evidence backs it. Like, there's loads of evidence that HIIT is one of the ways that we can reduce inflammation in the body and actually lower our biological age. So, yeah, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself there, but I'm so passionate about this point.
He is getting ahead of ourselves. I can tell with both of us, this is going to mix into the myths and the solutions as well, but that's okay. The next one is resistance training won't help me lose weight. Well, this is my one, isn't it? This is an enormous lie.
It is. So people think that just going and doing a resistance training won't help you lose weight, but of course it will, right? You're still burning calories while you do it. Also, like, as we add muscle's metabolically active, so the more muscle we put on our frame, the higher our metabolic rate, the more calories we're burning. So resistance training definitely will help you lose weight, but you need to combine other forms of training with it as well, like HIIT, for example.
Yeah, the next one is weights will bulk me up. Now, this is one of the things I hear. I mean, men are like, woohoo, that's great. But for women, I hear this a lot. I'm really afraid that weights are going to bulk me up. And I had this massive fear as well. Especially if we're carrying, I'm going to be completely, especially if we're carrying a little bit of weight, what we're afraid of is adding muscle and bulking ourselves even more. Now, if you have got the combination, which is what we teach in our program, which is what completely transformed my body shape, which is what completely transforms our clients' body shape. If you are combining it with fat burning exercise, like cardio as well, and you're getting your weights workouts done correctly, you will not bulk. you'll be losing body fat at the same time as doing resistance training. Like James said just a minute ago, once we do resistance training, we're doing weight bearing exercise, we're going to boost that metabolic rate. So we're actually going to be burning more calories at rest anyway. So women don't have the levels of testosterone that men have. So it's very, very difficult unless you are taking steroids. And like, when you see women maybe on social media and they are massive and they are bulked up, please don't for 1 minute think that they've done that naturally. They are taking steroids, they're taking human growth hormone, and they're in the gym 6 times a week. So unless you want to be doing that, which I don't think many of our listeners will want to be doing that, you are not going to bulk. You're actually going to become more svelte. Your body shape is going to become tighter and look leaner. You're just going to look more sculpted. So please don't worry that you are going to be bulking when you do weights.
Yeah, I was going to throw something in here for the guys, actually, because I guess more guys than women would want to bulk, but some guys don't want to bulk. But listen, even for the men, midlife, like our testosterone levels are lower. It's still hard to bulk for men as well, right? I mean, you need to really train hard, lots of protein, up your carbohydrates, and this is, without talking like the supplementation, steroids and stuff. It's still really hard graft to bulk up. So if your fear is that if you touch a weight, you're going to suddenly pop into Popeye, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, and I actually have got one more that we haven't mentioned here. This is a myth as well, and it's actually starting to drive me a little bit mad in this digital world where I see this all the time again. I need to lift heavy. So I've got to lift really heavy weights in order to get the body shape I want, or I just have to lift heavy. This is another absolute lie. I see so many, and I'm going to just point to women right now. I see so many women going into the gym, lifting really heavy. Their form is all over the shop. They're not actually creating that time under tension. So what we want to do with our muscles is create time under tension. The muscles need to be under tension. And that comes from having good form. So when we're lifting really heavy, too heavy, our form goes and our muscles actually aren't working in the way they need to, and we won't get the results.
Yeah, I'd say also we're all individually different, right? So we have 2 types of muscle fiber, fast twitch and slow twitch, and they'll respond to different weights and frequencies. So some of those fibers will respond to lighter weights, high reps. Others will respond to heavier weights, lower reps. We need to just practice and learn what works for us to get the result that we're looking for. But Claire's exactly right. You don't have to be lifting heavy. You can go and do like 20 reps at a lighter weight. You
have to be really careful with your form, and especially at midlife. So thinking that we've got to go in and lift heavy is another massive myth. I don't. It's really interesting. I notice that...
What are you benching these days, Claire?
Yeah, but here's the thing. I think, sadly, we're in a world where it's all about that competition and lifting heavy and all that kind of stuff. I go in, I do my workout. It's not about competing with anyone else in the gym. It's about what feels good to me. And so people might look at me with my shoulders, which can get a bit large sometimes. But people might look at my shoulders and think,
beautiful shoulders.
Thank you. But she might lift heavy, and I absolutely don't. So I just wanted to throw that one in there as well. Now we're going to go on. This is the exciting thing. Okay, you've gone through the myths.
Those are the myths. We've busted them for you.
What we shouldn't be doing with regards to exercise. What should we be doing? James, over to you on the hit stuff.
So yeah, let's talk about just general training principles, right? So we want to resistance train because we're naturally losing muscle mass. We want the hormonal boost that comes from resistance training, lifting weights, using our body weight. So that's partly part of our routine. But of course, the other thing we want to do is look after our cardiovascular health. So, our heart health, which is like when we raise our heart rate and our blood pressure through exercise, and our and our VO2 max, which is about our lung power. So both those things will decline with age. So again, the more we can work them, the better it's going to be for our overall longevity, quality of life. So as we said, like HIIT, it's study after study after study shows it is the best form of exercise to actually lower biological age on a number of markers. Why? Because it's super short, right? Like we said, the workout should be 20 minutes, no longer. If you don't know what HIIT is, it's high intensity interval training. You will have periods of time that are short, maybe 20 seconds, 30 seconds, where you're going all out on an exercise.
And it's important to go all out as well.
We'll tell you that in a minute. Then you're going to have a little recovery. So that might be like another 10 seconds, 20 seconds where you do nothing. Then you go again and you just lap for 20 minutes. Advantages. You can keep varying it. You can just do different exercises. It keeps it really varied. You're moving your body in lots of different ways, so it's very functional. Because it's short, it's not going to spike your cortisol because it's such a short thing. By going at intensity, you're going to create that oxygen debt. So when we create the oxygen debt, basically our muscles work off burning glucose and glycogen and oxygen. When we can't get enough oxygen in, when panting, then our metabolism will spike for the next 24 hours or longer, trying to make up for that. So it actually raises our metabolic rate. So, like I say, multiple studies have shown that HIIT will reduce inflammation and biological age. We also get an endorphin rush from it. So this will help with things like anxiety, depression, because we get this feel-good neurotransmitter boost. And there are some hormonal benefits as well. So when we train at intensity, we'll raise testosterone, we'll raise human growth hormone. It'll also help with our coordination because we're doing like various different exercises. So how you want to do it? You want to do HIIT, I'd say 2 to 3 times a week for 20 minutes max. And the beauty is, right, that's over and done before you know it. We personally, and we get our clients to do it first thing in the morning.
Well, I was about to say, actually.
We do it fasted because that has a
Why?
much better effect for burning into body fat. If we fasted overnight and we get up, we train at intensity, we'll burn through the residual glucose and glycogen, and then we have to tap body fat. So burn body fat for energy. And again, we'll get that afterburner effect of the oxygen debt.
Absolutely.
So it's simple to do, sets you up for the day, gives you bundles of energy for the day to come.
And people just really find it so much fun. And like within our program, the Midlife Reset, and actually the Midlife Boost, the 10-day program that we've got so many different varieties. I think we've got like about 200 HIIT variations. So we just don't get bored. That's what people find as well. Like just having that variety just keeps it interesting. Now on to weight. So we've talked about HIIT and we're going to talk about weights. Why is it important to do weights at midlife? We've kind of dived into this, so it's a little bit of a repetition, but we are losing that muscle mass with age. When we're losing our muscle mass, our metabolic rate decreases. We're also more prone to injury as we're aging. So we really want to be strengthening our muscles, our tendons, our ligaments. This is all around weight training. This is what we want to do. It's also going to boost our coordination as well, because we're doing multifunctional movements that is going to help with that coordination, which also reduces as we age. That mind-body connection is really, really important.
Can I say, and they still don't understand the reason why, but there's more evidence showing that there seems to be a link between particularly resistance training and lowered risk of Alzheimer's and dementia.
Yeah.
Again, they don't know why, but there's more and more studies showing it.
Yeah, it's crazy. And also that, that muscle mass, we want to be maintaining that muscle mass. So we're doing that, but we're also, I mentioned earlier on as well, it's so important for our bone density. Please do not dismiss how important this is for our muscles and our bone density. We do not want to be frail as we age. We want to be strong. We want to be powerful. We don't want to be falling over, breaking bones, and then taking a long time to recover if we recover at all. So now is the time to be doing resistance training. And now listen, I know if you haven't done weight training before, it can be really overwhelming. But like we said, with our programs, it's very simple. We can do it at home. We don't need to go into a gym where there's lots of people. We can learn as we go, but we need to start somewhere with this because it's so important. It also gives us temporary hormone boost. So when we do resistance training, it gives a temporary bump of human growth hormone and testosterone, which is really helpful for optimizing our hormone health.
Absolutely.
And, it keeps us confident. It keeps us empowered. I honestly can't tell you the life-changing moments for me where when I was doing weights, people might say, well, how on earth does that make you feel powerful? How on earth does that make you feel like confident? Well, it just does. Do it and understand the benefits once you're in it.
So how should you do it? Well, here's the science, right? We need to hit each muscle group twice a week. So muscle group, think of things like your chest, your legs, your shoulders. To give them stimulus to grow, we need to hit them twice a week. Why is that? Well, the muscles actually grow during the recovery phase. So we want to overexert the muscle. Say we're working our bicep, for example. Maybe on Monday we go and we do our bicep curls. We've overexerted it. Now, what happens when we overexert and we overstrain it? We actually create micro tears in the muscle. They then heal with miniature, like micro scarring, which is the muscle actually forming new fibers and getting bigger and stronger. So we need to leave it at least 48 hours, I'd say, before you hit it again. So if you think about doing a full body workout, you could do that, say, on a Monday and a Thursday. That'd be twice a week. Now, there are different ways you can do it, because obviously if you're doing full body, that can take you quite a long time. So people will work in things what we call splits. You could do something like upper body, lower body. So you do upper on Monday, lower on Tuesday, rest day, upper, lower, or you could do push-pull movements. There's lots of various ways. We break it down in our programs for people, but it just gives you more variety as well, and you can fit it more in your time. Obviously, if you're just working your upper body, it's a much shorter workout than if you were doing the whole body twice a week. So it's really what fits with your lifestyle. The important thing is to make sure we're getting that stimulation, because I'm often asked, oh, is it okay if I just go to the gym once a week? And it's like, well, listen, it's better than nothing. It might maintain where you're at, but you're definitely not going to put any muscle on, and you probably will still continue to lose muscle. The other thing that's really important is to say you must have a progressive program, because again, the idea is we're making our muscles stronger. If we can do, 10 bicep curls with an 8 kilo weight in week 1, then in week 6, we don't want to be still doing 10 bicep curls with an 8 kilo weight. We want to have gone up to like 10, 12, even more, because we want to create that new strength and that new muscle fiber. So progression is really important and often overlooked as well.
Yeah, and taking ourselves to what we call failure. But this takes a bit of confidence. We're not expecting people to take themselves to failure. What do I mean by that? Well, so example, if you've got 3 sets of 10 reps, for example, so you've got 10 reps, you rest, then 10 reps, rest, then you go into that third and final set of 10 reps. You want to be failing really on the last couple of reps of that last set, because that's where you're going to really create. This is the thing we notice, again, I see this in the gym, and I've been guilty of this at points where I'm just like, oh, I can't be bothered to take myself to failure, because it hurts a little bit. But I always say there's no pain, no gain. We want to be taking ourselves to a little bit of failure at the end, where it's hard, because that's when those little muscle tears are going to be at their greatest, and you're going to get the best result basically for building that muscle. So making sure it's progressive, making sure you're working yourself hard enough is really important. And another thing to say is, we have said about HIIT and doing that in the morning, fasted. That's when you're going to get the best bang for your buck. It really, really is amazing. But resistance training, weight training can be done at any time of the day. And it's best to do that when you do have some fuel in you, some protein. So we do a HIIT in the morning, and then we'll have a bit of our power shake, which has got good protein, good fat, good carbs. It's got a good mix of stuff in it. So then we'll go and do our weight session, because we need that energy to do our weights and lift as heavy as we possibly can. So just thought it was really important to say that you don't have to do that in the morning as well, because sometimes people feel a bit overwhelmed by that.
Yeah. So how would this all fit together? What could it look like? Well, listen, as we said, there's lots of ways you could do it, but let's give you a really simple example, right? It might look like on a Monday, you do your full body resistance workout. On a Tuesday, you do a HIIT. On a Wednesday, you have a rest day, recovery day. On a Thursday, you do your next full body HIIT. On a full body resistance. Then on the Friday, you're doing a HIIT. Then at the weekends, and here we go, at the weekends, you could either do another HIIT, or we always encourage clients to do something different for their cardio. Maybe that's like going for a bike ride, a swim,
spin,
a run, whatever you enjoy, whatever lights you up, because it's good also to keep challenging the body and mixing things up. So you can see it's quite simple to put together a program that will fit around your schedule.
Yeah, and actually here's the really important thing to say. Like we've designed this, and we always intended to design this for insanely busy midlifers, right? We are generation squeeze. We're stretched beyond belief. And we've worked with people that, are entrepreneurs, and they have businesses on multiple continents with different time zones, that people that travel all the time, and they still manage to fit this in and get the most amazing results for themselves. So it's not, I don't want you listening to this. I do not want you listening to this thinking I don't have time, because we make the time. First of all, we prioritize it, because our health is important. Exercise is the most underutilized antidepressant as well. It is so important to your life, to your body, your mind, your emotions, everything. This cannot be put on the back burner. We need to prioritize it, but we don't need to overthink it and think it's going to take over my life. It doesn't need to, and it doesn't for people. So there really is no excuse other than that level of self-belief and that motivation. And guess what you get that from? You get that from being in a community. You get that from being accountable to a group. That's the secret sauce. That's the power of being part of a community, connecting to other people that have the same goal, the same purpose and are following the same trajectory as you. You feel supported, you feel guided towards getting results, and you feel more confident because of that. So, you know, I just wanted to say that at the end, really.
I just wanted to throw in a couple of other things, actually, which I just remembered. Like, another really important thing is flexibility, right? As we age, our flexibility is declining because we're actually producing less collagen, so ligaments and tendons are less elastic. We're more prone to injury.
So this is where yoga...
Yeah, so this is where things like stretching and yoga. So like, it's really important as well. Always warm up well before you start a workout, and do spend time at the end stretching out. And if you want to throw an extra stretching session in the week, or yoga session, then also fantastic. The other thing to say is, if you do other sports or activities, you will find this type of training will really help with that. When we have people that come to us and they run and they're like, wow, my running has got so much faster since I started doing this type of training. Or, my tennis game's got better. I'm more active. It will play benefits in so many areas of your life. Yeah,
absolutely. It's so important to say that, actually. I found this when I do enjoy a run, and actually all the weights that I was doing, and, all the ab works that I was doing and all of this kind of stuff, it really, really helped me become much faster. Obviously, the HIIT really helped my VO2 max, so I had more endurance. It's really super, super important to mix this in so that you get the most out of your other workouts as well. So we've loved doing this podcast.
I loved doing this one.
You can probably hear the enthusiasm and the excitement, because
I could talk about it for loads more, but I don't want to confuse people.
No, exactly. Let's try and keep it simple. Hopefully we have kept it as simple as we possibly can. Now, listen, if you have any questions around this, please reach out. We're not saying this as some weird marketing tactic for you to email us and, us send you something. We genuinely really care. Like, this is our mission, our passion. We want to hear from you. We love to connect with you. So if you've got any questions, pop them over to team@themidlifementors.com. And if you want to understand more about how you can work with us, we do also offer completely free, complimentary 20-minute consultation calls with us, where we talk about your goals, what your challenges are, and if it feels right, the word is if it feels right, then at the end we'll tell you a little bit about the midlife reset, or what other things that we can do to help you and support you in your midlife journey. So if you are interested in that, again, just pop us an email and say, can I have a chat with you? Can I book a call with you? That would be really amazing to connect with you. So that is it, isn't it, Mr. D?
That is it. Until next time.
Sending you so much love. Thanks for being here. Take care. Mwah.
Yeah.
You've been listening to the Midlife Mentors with Claire and James Davis.
We'd love to hear from you. So drop us a line at info@themidlifementors.com with any questions or topic suggestions.
And make sure you join us on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. You can find us under the Midlife Mentors.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for listening. And just before you go, we wanted to remind you that the waitlist for the Midlife Reset Audit is now open.
You can be the first to take this revolutionary new tool to helping you live your healthiest, happiest midlife by signing up at themidlifementors.com/audit.